Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, January 25th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here is changing, and the candlestick you see right there is moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, GROM, and quite the eventful afternoon. As you can see here, volume has come pouring in, and as I talk, this thing's getting pretty jumpy, moving around, which again is why I like to do these when the market's still open. But really what's occurred here and what makes this very interesting is that good, solid breakout has already happened. Now, I understand, well, Clay, then what's the point? If the breakout has already happened, well, then we missed it. And yeah, you have missed that breakout right there. But the idea of a watch list is to find unique, to find interesting situations, and not randomly rush out and buy anything, but to watch it. And when you can ask the question such as this is, okay, nice breakout, nice movement, but is this just the start of something even bigger? That's a pretty exciting question to ask. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not the start of something bigger. Maybe this thing just fades back into oblivion. But that's a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is the start of something bigger. And this movement here, we'll look back in a couple of days and say, geez, remember that when that thing was still down below $4? Again, you don't know. But what you do know is that this is a worthwhile event. We are in a breakout. The breakout's getting good volume. You're getting good price movement. So it's worth asking that question and at least observing. So if you like to play this price range, if you like to play stocks that have broken out, but now you're just wondering, is this just the start of something even bigger? Then definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, HLBZ. This will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from Monday. But if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that green line right there at 37 cents. And I bring that up because wouldn't you know it, the power of charts pulled back today, sure, but look right where it found some support and bounced. Right at that level right there. And now this is where things get a little bit, confusing, not confusing, but difficult to talk about from a presentation standpoint, because is this a good or bad looking chart? Well, I don't know your perspective. If you're a day trader and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yeah, from that perspective, the chart looks really bad. But if you care about the big picture of things, sure, the price did pull back today, but when you look at the lows, so again, we had that low right there, and then you compare it to that low, and then that low, and then that low down there. And if you envision each one of these as stair steps, emphasis on big picture, well then from the big picture perspective, what do you have? Well, you still have the stair steps very clearly making progress in the upwards direction. So is this a good or bad looking chart? That's going to be on you and what your strategy going in was. As far as areas of resistance, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level up here now to that 52-cent mark. But whenever levels of resistance need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, that does imply that the trend is still moving upwards, which it is, right? It's putting in higher highs, higher lows, and that's the name of the game. So assuming you care about the bigger picture of things, yeah, pulled back today, but overall the price still has put in plenty of those higher bases. Next one, GMBL, and a very, very monster afternoon. You can see that started off the day, basically nothing going on from a volume perspective, and then the volume since then has just come pouring in, and we have ourselves some very well-defined levels here. The big level that a lot of people will be watching just because it stands out like a sore thumb, right up there at the 17-cent mark, and there's nothing complicated behind it at all, which is another reason why you would expect a lot of people to be watching it, just based on the fact that not once but twice, price came up there and did get rejected. And then there's been periods both there, and there where the price got up into the general area and the momentum just disappeared. So I'm not saying that 17 cents can't be broken. I'm just saying it's become very clear that right up around that area, give or take a little bit, there are clearly some sellers up at that area. So watch 17 cents as that main area of resistance in terms of levels of support. Main level in my mind down there at that 13-cent mark. So let me change that to green to represent more so a bullish dynamic on things. And then maybe to turn this all into a pattern, we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big explosion right there. So we have ourselves a bull flag pattern. So if you like penny stocks, if you like these sorts of patterns, here you go. Next one here, AMC, and not a good day, not necessarily just because it was a gap and trap where the price gapped up here and then just drop. But you can see now that the price has separated quite a bit to the downside of that green line, which for you longer time viewers know that we've been tracking for several days now. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that as it served its purpose. And I'll leave this level up here because it continues to provide just a very stubborn and a very annoying level up there at 585. But now the next key level in my mind that needs to be watched very, very closely is going to be down here at $5.30. So the good news here is there's still some wiggle room before the price even technically goes down to that level. But if the price goes on there and breaks through there, then again, am I going to say that the entire chart is epically smashed and destroyed? Nah, that's probably a little too dramatic. But it would imply that the price is starting to go back down to these areas of the chart. That again, it's not the end of the world, but they are still former consolidation areas that are much lower than where the price was when it was, chipping away up around this area of the chart. So yes, big picture wise, everything is still fine. Again, going back to the logic of, okay, where are these bases at? Well, you have a set of lows there, you have lows there, you have lows down here, and envision those as stair steps. Yeah, stair steps are still very clearly in the upwards direction. But like I said, to be proactive about things, you really want to see this consolidate out and stay above $5.30. So we'll see if the price can do that. And again, that near-term level of resistance right up there at $5.85. Next one, XELA, and again, this will mean a little bit more to those that have watched the past videos, but if you have, you know that I've been tracking it and talking about how maybe this was the start of something bigger, and yeah, today was definitely the start of something bigger as the volume came pouring in. Unfortunately, like I said, things got bigger. A very, very nice move showed up. The price was approaching 9 cents to try to battle through there, and then just like that, completely turned around. Now, once more, is the overall chart destroyed? It's not. And I think the best way to illustrate that is to just get a trend line in place. And you can see that overall, the price is still above this trend line. So bigger picture wise, looking at more than just, today's price movement or just this afternoon's price movement, you can see the price is still trending upwards. But yeah, if you're a day trader and you bought right there with the plan of buying and selling within 13 minutes, well then yes, from that angle, things are looking really, really bad. So is this a bullish or bearish chart? That's going to depend on your, perspective going into it. But more of the story here is if the price were to go down to that trend line and blast down through there, at that point, that's where things really start to look a little bit sketchy. But like I said, to be fair, you don't want to be overly dramatic because yes, big pullback today, but the price does still have the chance of putting a higher base by staying above that trend line. So let's see if it can get that job done or not. Real quick, wanted to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to manage risk, to build consistency, then certainly get signed up for the free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage to sign up to get, or to click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. Next one, WISA, and done this one before, and this will mean a little bit more to those that have watched those, but I talked about that 16-cent mark being an area of resistance, and you can see when the price broke through it. Very, very impressive move up. But like a lot of these, now all of a sudden the price is taking a pretty big pullback here, but this is where it gets interesting. In fact, let me just get rid of that line as it served its purpose for now. But the big dynamic here, and this is just based on a foundational principle in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. And as I speak, you can see the price is seemingly going to be pulling back to this 16-cent mark, which brings about the big question, is this level going to hold? Now, if you're someone that's saying, I love to buy pullbacks, I like to buy at supports, I get that logic. Again, that doesn't guarantee, it's not guaranteed that it's going to bounce, but I don't think anybody could find fault with that logic because, yeah, there's a lot of, rationale that goes behind it, but that's why risk management matters because there's no guarantees. So like I said, is it guaranteed to come down here and bounce? Of course not, but there's a lot of logic that goes behind that. But the point here being is that, once more, what was your strategy? Day traders that bought up here, not looking so good. But if the price comes down here and it holds, then as you've heard me say, if you envision each of those as a stair steps, then overall the stair steps still progressing in the upward direction. So you're seeing that's kind of a theme out there today. A lot of stocks made good moves and then all of a sudden had these deep pullbacks. So it really does get oriented around, well, what was your perspective going in? Were you some sort of day trade scalper, or do you care more so about a bigger picture? Next one, TSLA Tesla, and a very nice pattern here, very well defined. So the key breakout point, and I make no claims that this is some sort of special skill or great discovery. I assure you a lot of people are going to be watching $145.50. You can see a couple times rejected, false breakout there, and then a couple other times direct, rejections. So while there's no guarantees, is it plausible? And you can call this a self-fulfilling prophecy if you want, but is it plausible if the price comes up to that level and breaks up through it, that break could very well create a bunch of buying pressure, even if people are just buying, well, just because I'm a breakout trader and it's breaking out? Yeah, in my mind, that is a very plausible thought process to have in terms of levels of support. You have this well-defined support trend line right there. So again, let me change this to green to represent the support part. And then for you pattern players out there, have yourselves a good old-fashioned bear pennant here. Nice move up. Let's put the golf hole down here to make it a little bit more visual. So there we go. Bull pennant pattern. So yeah, for those of you that like to trade Tesla, interesting pattern. Let's see what happens with it on Wednesday. I'm going to go through this very quickly because you've heard me say it now probably about 30 times in this video. But GNS here, same idea. Day traders that are buying here or there, yeah, things are not looking so good. But for those of you that care about the bigger picture of things, even with the pullback, and let's just look at the low right there at $4. You look at these other lows where it's been, and then you picture the big picture point of view, and you can see overall the stair-steps are still trending in the upwards direction. So no need to be a broken record. Same thing here for GNS. It just depends on what your viewpoint was going into the trade. Next one, BIAF. Nice little pattern here, which still some of the general ideas that I've talked about. If you're a day trader that was buying up around here, then yeah, things are looking rough. But for those of you that care about more so the overall pattern, then like I said, yeah, you do have a nice pattern because late day today, there's no doubt about it that there has been this downwards channel that's formed. I mean, you can't argue about that. Downwards channel, no doubt about it. But again, when you care about the big picture, you do have to consider, well, what was going on before the downwards channel showed up? So to just keep this the same color, again, let's hear we have our downwards channel, but because we care about the big picture, what was happening before it? Well, you had this big old move right here, which is now giving me the ability to draw this bull flag pattern. So if you like to play stocks down below $5, you like bull flag patterns, keep an eye on this one. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that follows the NASDAQ. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to go up, then this one will also go up. Difference being this just gives you access at a much lower price point. And not a whole lot to say here other than the fact that there's just going to be that many more people watching this $22 mark. So we're going back to the talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies. Just because it stands out like such a sore thumb. Guarantees, no, but valid to think that if the price comes up here and breaks up through 22, that break, just because people are buying because it's a breakout, could create additional buying pressure. Absolutely. So keep a close eye on the $22 mark. Still have this overall level down here, which didn't even come close to getting tested today at 21. If you wanted to get a little fancy, I suppose you could put in a little bit of an uptrend line right there and then do something like this. And then, maybe there's some sort of bull pennant in there, but self-admittedly, maybe I'm trying to fit a square peg through a round hole there. But the simplified approach would just be $22, right? That sticks out like a sore thumb. So watch that from a breakout standpoint. And yeah, today the price didn't really, make any sort of huge moves, but nothing can go straight up. So as of now, looking like a healthy day of consolidation, but we'll see if there's any sort of follow through on Wednesday. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the class. Like I said, link in the description box or below the video. But it'll be Thursday, January 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, then please do two things for me. Hit the like button and leave a comment. Say what you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But those two things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know that people are enjoying, I will continue to put in the time and effort required to get this content out to you. So communicate that to me by just hitting the like button and leaving a very easy comment down below. So thanks for watching. Again, get signed up for that class. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Have a good one.